During the first year, you have coursework and mostly lab rotations. Then once you start the actual work towards completing your degree is gathering preliminary data. So at the end of your first year, you will have to make a plan for what you're going to be doing for the next year, because at the end of your second year, you have your qualifying exam that will basically qualify you for candidacy. So during this committee meeting at the end of your first year, sometimes you will have preliminary data. Usually you try and get preliminary data, and you'll basically have a plan for how you're going to obtain additional preliminary data to give evidence towards your experiment for the rest of your PhD. And during your qualifying exam, that is when you're essentially going to form a grant proposal. So we have a written document that is essentially in the same form that a grant proposal is in. We do not submit it, at least it's not a requirement for our program. So basically, we are making a grant proposal, and then we're making a presentation to defend our thought process, the background knowledge, why it's important. And so being able to communicate what your work is going to be on and why it's important is super important for the qualifying exam, at least for my program. So during this qualifying exam, you are essentially questioned heavily on making sure that you know your background knowledge, making sure that you know why you're doing certain experiments. So they're making sure that you are essentially qualified to actually be performing these experiments and qualified to move on into the next phase of your PhD. And